So what the global marketing ethical case I decided to look into for Tim's class had to do with the factory fires over in Bangladesh, not just the Joe Fresh one that took place in April 2013, but also the one with Walmart that took place in November 2012.
Bangladesh is also known as the People's Republic of Bangladesh, is a country located in South Asia with a population of approximately 156 million people. India is their close neighbor, harboring on the north, west, and east sides of the country. Now, Bangladesh's overall GDP floats around $150 billion US dollars, and their per capita is approximately $957 US. In comparison, if you look at their close neighbors, India, their overall GDP is about 1.87 trillion United States dollars, and their per capita is approximately $1,498. Now, back here at home in Canada, our GDP is approximately $1.82 trillion, and per capita is approximately $51,958. The factory fire collapse, or the factory collapse in April 2013, took place in the Rana Plaza, which is located in Savar, a sub-district of Dhaka.
So the fact that these incidents happened within approximately 6 months of each other describes how much of a factor of safety, work safety for these people goes into what's happening over in Bangladesh. So to give a better understanding of what's happening over there, back in 2012 in November, approximately 112 workers died in a factory fire where the workers had worked in deplorable working conditions. Now, the working conditions they were working in was the facts that the fire exits were completely locked off. Not just the fire exits, but they were blocked off, and the proper fire equipment, the firefighting equipment was provided for the workforce there. So what ended up happening is that these people got trapped inside the factories with this fire, and when they tried to get out the exit, the fire exit that they had there, they were locked in, so they had no way of getting themselves out. That prescribes definitely a very disgusting look into what's going on over in Bangladesh. And this deplorable working condition has been going on since approximately 2005, where over 700 workers have died in that time frame. And if we look at the April 2013 situation, the deplorable working conditions there continued to maintain the same, even though the government said they were going to look into it, they were going to put in stronger sanctions, make certain that these working conditions that these individuals were working in were more lively, better, but that never changed in the people involved in the Bangladesh fire in 2013, which included the Joe Fresh and Bismarck, which is a company over in Britain. It's a food company over there. 1,100 workers had died from the factory collapsing. And there's these photos all over the internet of individuals being pulled out from the rubble of the damage that this fire had caused. It caused the building to completely collapse. Now, the problem here is the fact that these companies, Walmart, not just Walmart, but Joe Fresh and any other apparel company, because the apparel company is an $18 billion a year business, is that these companies have to provide their stakeholders, not the stakeholders, the ones working over in Bangladesh, but the stakeholders that are involved with money investing into the company with a strong bottom line, the confidence to continue to go with this company and continue to getting strong dividends from either Walmart or Nike or Joe Fresh or whoever might be the ones involved with these situations. Now, a lot of the apparel business still is manufactured in China. China providing the largest in the world in terms of production for apparel manufacturing. But the problem is over there, they're seeing what's a paradigm shift. And because of that, companies such as Walmart, Nike, Joe Fresh are moving away from there and going to Bangladesh because China has seen that paradigm shift. Not only that paradigm shift, but the increase in inflation, and they're also seeing an increase in minimum wage pay. So the production value over there is reflecting on the profit margin that's being reflected on their bottom line over here in the United States or in Canada. So what these companies need to do is they need to go to another country where they can hire a workforce where they can pay a lot less. So with Bangladesh right now, you're looking at approximately $38 a month in minimum wage. If you compare that to the Canadian dollar, which is over $11 in minimum wage, or if you look into our neighbors to the south, which is approximately $8.50, you can see that within a matter of hours and even less than a day, we make more money than a worker over in a factory in Bangladesh would make. So there's that human factor to it as well. And if we were to look even deeper into this, we'd see that Bangladesh has approximately over 6,000 factories, which brings into the question, how many of these factories right now over there are being completely not seen with their terrible working conditions because either the government hasn't catched onto it or they have catched onto it and they're being bribed out of it and it's not being brought to light, or another situation or variable that we can't determine at this point in time. Now, that problem is consistent considering that over here in Canada and in the United States, we can buy a shirt over at Walmart for approximately $6. So there's another human factor to this. It's not the factor that people are dying and we're not valuing their lives over there, because there's definitely the companies that care more about their bottom line than they do care about the lives of these workers overseas. But there's also another human factor to this that we need to take into consideration as well, and that could be mommy over here in Canada or in the United States working minimum wage, supporting her 1, 2, or 3 children by herself because a daddy could have run away from home or whatnot. And the fact that she needs to provide her kids with the proper shelter, food, and of course clothing. So when she walks into the store, she doesn't look at the human factor and the fact that these shirts are made in Bangladesh, because she's completely oblivious to the fact that people are dying overseas making her these shirts. What she's more concerned about is the well-being of her own children. So instead of paying, say, for a shirt that's $20 to $30 over here because it was made in Canada or made in the United States, she's more or less likely to buy the shirt that's on sale for $6 because it was made in Bangladesh for people that were working for this below poverty line amount of wage. Now, people over there consider it a luxury to even have a washing machine or electricity, where here, mommy lives that high standard of living with her 3 children, trying to keep them supportive. So when we take into consideration what's happening over there, we can't forget the fact what's happening over here as well, because obviously there is a need and demand for people to purchase this clothing at this low price. Otherwise, Walmart, Nike, or, well, more or less Walmart and Joe Fresh wouldn't be able to make the bottom line that they're having, because there wouldn't be a need for these products in the first place.
Here's just an example of how serious the factory collapse was. It ended up killing 1,129 people, something that could easily have been avoided if the government did a better job enforcing its strict building code sanctions. Now, these individuals are protesting over their own safety, something that they should equally deserve. The bodies of their fallen friends, brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, demonstrates the absence of moral responsibility from their country. Companies such as Walmart and Joe Fresh continue to make money from these deplorable working conditions. It was during the factory fire in November 2012 that Walmart ended up taking an obstructive stance, making it incredibly difficult to obtain the audit reports that directly stated that the safety of their working facilities, including the one that caught fire, was unfit for human safety. Later, they had taken a defensive stance, stating that they were unaware of this report at the time, and that they would have never had these workers work in these conditions if they had seen the report. They followed this up by stating that they would make certain that this would never happen again, although that really is for times itself to tell. Here the workers were completely locked into the factory during the fire. They were desperately crying out for help, completely trapped, and left with no firefighting equipment. In this situation, they were unable to do anything else but panic and reach out, crying for help.